So if we can switch to this one and turn that one off. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, both for the invitation and the introduction. And so what I'm going to do is keep an eye on the clock. When someone sees Terry come in the door, let me know and I'll stop. And then we can give out the awards. So yes, I've been here for 22 years, and my career has taken quite an interesting turn. And let me just, I thought a lot about what to talk about, and I thought, you know, there's so many things here that if you're not into X-ray spectroscopy, you might fall asleep, and if you're not into environmental science. So I'm going to instead give a general interest talk so that hopefully you learn a little something. And along the way, I'll weave in things that I've been involved in. But what was really nice about Los Alamos for me was, and I've been here 22 years now, and I remember the day that I arrived, and I had been sort of groomed for academia, if you will. And I came here, and several things happened. First is I fell in love with northern New Mexico. The other is that an opportunity was afforded to me here that was not available in academia. And that was in academia, everyone wanted me to do this certain hot topic, and I kind of felt like it was a really very crowded field in organometallic chemistry in those days. For those of you in the audience who are in that field, you know what I mean. And I wanted to do environmental science at that time, and really no one wanted to hire me outside the lab for that because I wasn't known for that. And Los Alamos gave me the flexibility to move around. So here's kind of how I moved around over the years. I started with organometallic chemistry of actinides. I did a little nuclear medicine research, actinide solution chemistry and thermodynamics, chemical speciation of actinides in the environment. We kind of turned this into a new field that we called molecular environmental science, and that really took off and got a lot of momentum, which ultimately led to our ability to go help with cleanup of one of the legacy sites of the Cold War, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I then did some work in the nuclear weapons program, leading the studying of the aging of plutonium, and then all the rest of the components in there. A little nuclear forensics, heavy element chemistry, and then back to electronic structure and bonding. So the laboratory has been a really fun place to be for me because, little tongue-in-cheek, you know, with 11,000 employees, it's easy to find 20 really good collaborators. And these have been good collaborators over the years. Now I want to give a little bit of career advice, and I'll come back to this at the end. Never look back. This is really important. I struggled with, you know, should I stay here? Should I be an academic? And someone gave me that advice, and it was very good. There is no wrong choice for you ahead. It's just a fork in the road. Pick one. If you find a little later that you don't like that fork, you can take another. So don't ever second guess and look back. Get your technical credentials in order. Of course, that's a lot of what you're doing in the postdoctoral realm. Because as you'll see through my little story, when you have your technical credentials in order, then people will come to you for advice and for help. And then you can really get down here to where you can start to influence the national or international agenda. The other thing is, don't be afraid to try new things. That's the beauty of a big lab, and of course most of you probably is what you're doing here as a postdoc. Make new friends, and then I put in parentheses here with the golden rule, because you never, you know, be good and nice to everybody, because you never know who's going to come back and be your boss 22 years later. So that's always, and I can say that that's something that you should pay a little attention to. And if you do all that, then you can kind of travel the world. These are some things, some places that this laboratory has allowed me to do a lot of work in Russia. This is in China. These are some friends that I've made along the way, international friends. This is the chairman of the Indian Atomic Energy Agency. And I would maintain that without being here at Los Alamos, these are things that I would not have been had the opportunity to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about some of the issues surrounding plutonium, because you may not be familiar with them, but I would say that probably everybody in the audience, if I mention nickel or gold, there might be an emotional response. But if you mention plutonium, to most people, they really have a preformed opinion, either pro or against, of some kind. And I would say as a chemical element in the periodic table, it's really quite unique in the history because it was discovered a few atoms. And then within a couple of years of its discovery, we had figured out how to make ton quantities of the material. And it was really a marvel of 20th century science, technology, and engineering that all of that happened. There's probably no other element in the periodic table that has had such a profound impact on the consciousness of society.